twilight hours, the voices sing tales of hope and heartbreak, everything a rhythmic blend of dreams and schemes, whispered sweetly in.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for showing up today, especially for Student Forum who helped us organize this, and especially for our commissioners who I know some of you are joining very late into the night. So thank you very much for giving your time up for this event. And we completely understand if you have to bow out early. Yeah. So a quick introduction. My name is Marianne. I'm a junior convener at the Student Forum, and I'll be your moderator today. My colleague Pushpa, who is just speaking, she'll help me collect questions from the audience for the Q&A session later, and Shri will be helping us run the Zoom in the background. So today we're very lucky to have commissioners from each of ISME's 8 commissions who will start by introducing themselves and answer any questions that you may have about the commissions and the pre-conferences. And we hope this kind of helps you in learning more about deciding which of the commissions kind of align best with your work and encourage you to submit to the 2026 pre-conference and the World Conference, which submissions are open, so go check that out. And a quick note on the pre-conference seminars. So these are kind of more smaller specialized events for you to present your work and see other work that's related to each of the 8 subtopics. And they're usually held a week before the World Conference. And because they're smaller, they're kind of a great opportunity for you to meet friends, peers, and experienced researchers, so like our commissioners here today, and maybe a less intimidating environment than like the huge World Conference. So we'll start with brief introductions, and then we'll go on to our Q&A session. So at any point, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat, and Pushpa will be collecting them for us to address after. But we'll start with some introductions. So actually, we'll start with Dr. De Bruin and Dr. Salonen from Instrumental and Vox Teaching, as well as Dr. Canham from CPROM, because I know you guys are joining from very late, and I know you have to leave early. So yeah, could you please introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit about yourselves, and maybe tell us a little bit about your commissions.
Well, I'll go first then. Thank you, Marianne, for that lovely introduction. And don't worry, sleep is overrated. So it's great to be here late at night here in Melbourne, Australia. I'm Leon De Bruin, and I am chair of the Instrumental and Vocal Music Teaching Commission. And my co-chair is Bridget Renee Salonen, and I'll introduce her next. But I'm coordinator of what's called the Master of Music Performance Teaching degree program at the University of Melbourne at the Conservatorium of Music here. It's a pre-service instrumental teacher training program servicing Australasia. So it serves a range of domestic and international students from around the world. My research interests feed directly into that program and spans instrumental pedagogy, in particular teaching science concerning impactful approaches, feedback in the instrumental lesson, and teaching science. I also contribute scholarship to phenomenological and qualitative and post-qualitative inquiry. That's enough of me. I'll pass it over to Bridget.
Thank you, Leon, and thank you for having us here today from the IVMTC. Alongside Leon, I'm the vice chair of the IVMTC, and I'm based in South Africa. I am a senior lecturer and head of woodwinds at the Stellenbosch University Department of Music, which is very close to Cape Town, and I live in Cape Town. I'm a flautist and a music educator, and I'm head of the woodwinds department where I work. And in that regard, I'm very, very involved with applied teaching of all woodwind instruments, pedagogical and didactic approaches, ensemble approaches, and research also in some effective teaching strategies. I also research in health and music education, particularly in the applied studio. And so I think that's enough from me now. And I think my dog is barking. I'm hoping it's not coming into the meeting right now. Can everyone hear me okay? Oh, good. Sorry, my dogs just started barking because somebody came in and I'm working from home today. I think that's enough from me. Leon, have I left anything out?
That is all lovely, and you're a fantastic colleague to have on the commission.
Thank you.
Who's next, Marianne? Are we passing to
Thanks.
Nicole?
Dr. Canham. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, a warm welcome from very cold Melbourne. And I am really delighted to be the co-chair of the CPROM Commission, which is the Commission for the Education of the Professional Musician. I'm another head of woodwind. All the woodwinds are representing, and I'm a clarinetist, so I'm head of woodwind at Monash University, and I also convene our music context studies stream, which is a stream where we look at sort of preparing musicians for their futures in music. My doctoral research is in self-directed career development in music, and after I finished my PhD, I went back and did a graduate diploma in careers education and development. So I'm also a qualified career counsellor, and I work as a career development practitioner. And all of those things are sort of hugely relevant to the themes of CPROM, where we explore what sustainable careers in music look like in this kind of really rapidly changing, unpredictable world. So in a second, I'm going to drop into the chat for people the links, because I was going around finding them all today for CPROM. So if you're interested in learning more about our commission or actually making a submission, those links will be in the chat for you. And I'm assuming, Marianne, we're going to talk a little bit more about the themes, or do you want me to talk about the CPROM theme now? Or
Yeah, you could go through the themes right now if you would like.
Oh, well, our theme is really great. It's breaking down barriers to sustainable careers in music. And we're leaving it pretty wide open. Whatever that looks like to you is probably something that we want to hear about. And particularly when we think about careers in a changing world, we're really interested, particularly in the work that students are doing, exploring new directions and new ideas. CPROM is a wonderful commission which has a real mix of people who've been going to CPROM for a long time, and also people who are new to research who are really bringing in fresh perspectives. And that's super valuable and really important from the CPROM point of view. I actually came to research after, and I still do work as a performing musician. So one of the things that we have really noticed is that there's a lot of interest of people who are working in the field of music who are coming into research trying to answer questions that they're having about how things work and how we kind of forge ahead. And that's certainly the thing that brought me to research, and it's been really wonderful to be able to extend beyond the work that I've done as a performing artist into other types of sort of understanding and scholarship. A couple of really exciting things about CPROM is, in addition to paper presentations and posters, which you wouldn't know all about, we have a Pekka Kucha section. So you can also come and do a short presentation, and we had some fabulous early career researchers doing that at the last commission in Tallinn last year. We also have a new section. So if you're doing practice-led research or artistic research, we're looking for performances and demonstrations that explore some of the themes of sustainability. So we're sort of really opening it up. We've got round tables as well, and we're really structuring CPROM this year to make it a really rich networking opportunity, particularly for students who might want to come to the commission. So we have some activities sort of woven throughout, so you can do some networking and get to meet other researchers there, because we really understand it's a scholarly sort of opportunity, but it is also a career networking opportunity. And so we've really been thinking about that in the way that we've sort of made a few changes to CPROM for next year. And of course, we're going to be in Quebec City, a stone's throw from the historic city, the old town of Quebec City, which is apparently incredibly beautiful, and there's lots of really great food and coffee. So I think I've kind of sold it as much as I can. I'm going to put some things in the chat, and I look forward to answering your questions.
Thank you, you three. And can confirm Quebec City is absolutely beautiful. Bring your walking shoes because it is a bit hilly. Thank you, you three. Was there anything, Dr. Debrin or Dr. Salonen, that you wanted to add about IVM specifically?
Sure, I can certainly expand on, if we're expanding on what our pre-conferences are doing, I can certainly deliver some important information there. We're, like CPROM, the IVMTC pre-conference is running from 21st to 24th of July at the University of Laval in Quebec as well, which is only a short 2.5 hour bus trip from Montreal, and I hear it is a very beautiful city. We have a number of open papers, extended papers, poster workshop and symposia available for anyone who wants to participate in our particular pre-conference. Please look at the details on the pre-conference website. What I will add is we have a few very exciting additions to our pre-conference this time around. We have been able to establish what's called the Graham Bartle IVMTC Travel Awards. And these are 2 travel awards open to all IVMTC attendees whose submission is accepted for presentation. And they are particularly open to people who are coming from countries that are somewhat underrepresented within ISME. They need to be first-time IVMTC conference attendees, and you're finding it difficult to secure funding from any other avenue. So please look at the website. We will pop a little link in that in our chat. We also have some emerging researcher awards, which will recognise recently completed original research conducted by early career researchers. So that may well include PhD candidates as well. So we're looking at two awards to be presented at the end of our particular conference. And that's really going to reward some PhD and early career researchers who are doing fantastic work to come to our conference. I can add that we are also looking at having ISME parliamentarian and past ISME president and very highly esteemed music education and psychology researcher, Professor Gary McPherson, as a keynote on our first day on the 21st. Lastly, we're also working with a really fantastic journal that comes out of University of Laval called Musique's Recherches Interdisciplinaires, and we'll be publishing a special edition from research ideas and presentations that are delivered at the 2026 IVMTC pre-conference. So we'll certainly invite certainly innovative, early and established researchers. So it might be a really good avenue to present at our pre-conference and then work on that particular paper to disseminate it amongst the scholarly audience pretty much straight after the conference. So our theme is inclusivity, sustainability and relationality in instrumental vocal teaching and learning. Very open, very accessible, and we really cover all areas of instrumental and vocal music teaching. We really, we could not be more central a mission to what ISME's goals are, and that's what this particular commission represents. We encompass all aspects of instrumental and vocal teaching and learning that may take place in the home or school or the one-to-one or small group basis. And it's of particular interest to studio or peripatetic teachers who often work in institutions, in business or private practice. I think that really covers it all. Let's hear from another commission.
Thank you. Do we have a volunteer for another commission? Otherwise, I'll start calling people out. Okay, next on the block, I'm gonna go, oh, okay, CMA.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Alicia de Banfi Hall. I'm the chair of the Community Music Activity Commission. I'm based in Germany, in Düsseldorf, where I am a professor of music and social work, community music. And in my work, I work with music students as well as social work students and practitioners in the field of community music in Germany. And now I think I'll talk briefly about the vision of CMA because I think that sort of summarizes quite well what the Commission is about. CMA believes that everyone has the right and ability to make, create, and enjoy their own music. And that active music making should be encouraged and supported at all ages and all levels of society. So it's all about music making in the community, and we strive to work towards the principles of inclusivity, equity, cultural democracy, social justice, and hospitality, and their context-dependent applications to music making practice. Our CMA pre-conference will take place at the University of Toronto Scarborough, which I believe the Policy Commission might also be there at the same time. And we are working in collaboration with the University of the Wilfrid Laurier University Center of Music in the Community and Sound Life. So it's quite exciting because community music is a thriving field in Canada. At Wilfrid Laurier, they have a PhD program, a BA and an MA program. So we will expect quite a lot of students. So I think for students, this might be it's a really fun commission to go to. And there will be a lot of students. We have also a category of submission for student or early career researchers. And we've tried this in the last conference in Finland too, to provide spaces for international students to connect. And that's been really, really positive. Let me think, what else? What was the other question? We were jumping around questions. The CMA, I think that's it really. The theme. You were asking about the theme as well. Our theme is relationality in the midst of conflict, difference, dialogue, and possibility in community music. So we're looking at how might community music research and practice operate within difference and conflict? How might intersectional, critical, and decolonial approaches strengthen and diversify community music practices and scholarship around the globe? How might contemporary and traditional indigenous practices and epistemologies inform community music as a field? What is the potential of listening and dialogue in building relationality across difference and conflict, whether social, cultural, political, or ecological? And what does co-creation look like across cultures, disciplines, and ecosystems? So we often have people from all sorts of backgrounds coming to our commission because there's so many intersecting fields. So we would love a lot of students coming. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So maybe we'll move on to policy since Professor Benfi Hall mentioned that one.
Sorry, did you say policy?
Yes, I did.
Okay, sorry, I was
No worries.
distracted. Okay, thank you so much for this invitation. My name is Tuulikki Laes. I'm in Helsinki, Finland, and I work in the University of the Arts Helsinki at the Sibelius Academy, where I teach and research, and my research interests revolve around the questions of inclusion, exclusion, social equity, educational democracy, as well as policy and politics in music educational contexts. And I've been very happy to serve in the Policy Commission now since 2020. So I guess they're kicking me out after next year. And I'm serving as the co-chair during this term with my colleague Danielle Hellman in Missouri, USA. And we have a really nice commission board with participants from North and South Americas and Europe and Asia. And we are really active and full of ideas. And we are going to host our pre-conference in the University of Toronto. And maybe just a little bit about how the Policy Commission might stand out from the other commissions. First of all, it is perhaps a joke, but I like to say that we are the only commission that has not the word music in their name. So whether you like it or not, I think the commission itself is a platform for quite broad variety of different research topics, because policy really connects with several different themes from curriculum development, relationship between culture and music, policy, evaluation, teacher assessment, to also like questions of culturally responsive music education policy and practice, sustainability, SDGs and UNESCO framework of arts and cultural education have been really much kind of coming out in our topics in the recent pre-conferences. Professionalization perspectives are also to politics and music and so on. So it's really a diverse commission, and we've always had participants from almost all continents across the globe, usually around 40 to 50 participants in our pre-conferences, which really gives kind of like a nice opportunity to stay in one group, become really connected during that week, and also engage in discussions and networking and creating connections. So our pre-conference seminar will be running from July 20th to 24th in Toronto. And the theme of the pre-conference seminar is exploring music education through political and apolitical lenses in changing world. So this theme that we carefully constructed it with the idea that it would invite everyone to examine how music education is shaped by different political forces, but rather than taking merely kind of like a dynamic activist approach, we propose that there are also a variety of different kind of more subtle and conspicuous actions that music educators can use to influence and shape policy around them, and also how the political climate in our contexts affect what we do. And we have also been planning a variety of different presentation formats for this pre-conference. So we're also eager to develop the pre-conference and try out new things. Right now, the idea is that you can either choose to submit a paper presentation in a kind of normal 20-minute setting, or then you can also do a 5-minute lightning talk and support that with a poster presentation. And we are trying to kind of enable people to create these kind of subgroups and engage in discussions and kind of like a lower threshold participation possibilities than just the kind of the traditional 20-minute paper presentation. We are developing a network formation session idea also for this pre-conference, where each network could work on identifying a specific policy or policy challenge or a question or something like that. So there are many different ways how you can participate. And more information is coming out very soon. So the best way to reach us is to follow us on social media. I can put the links in the chat. We release a newsletter 3 to 4 times a year. You can also send me email if you like. I put my email address in there. And of course, you can find the proceedings of the last pre-conference seminar and as well as others. And maybe just 2 more links I put here while I talk, because I I'm able to multitask almost, is the previous proceedings, but then also 2021 we published a special issue on policy in music education in the Finnish Journal of Music Education, which I'm the chief editor of, as a kind of replacement of the proceedings of the 2020 conference. And it's a really nice special issue because it has a variety of original research articles and shorter reports on very different kinds of topics. So if you're interested, you can click those open and scroll the topics a bit and see if it resonates in you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. Why don't we go with research? So Dr. Whitaker.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jennifer Whitaker, and I am a professor of music education at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte in the USA. I am not the commission chair. Unfortunately, Ramiro Limongi was unable to be here this morning, so I am filling in for him, and I'm pleased to be able to share this information with you. A little bit more about myself. I am a researcher who works with, in the US context, preparing teachers to go out and be instrumental teachers, so band and orchestra directors in our public schools here in the United States. I do teacher effectiveness research as a primary line, and also technology and diversity as it relates to music education. In terms of the Research Commission, we are very pleased to be able to meet in Kingston, Ontario, which is about, I believe, a 3-hour bus trip to Montreal from Montreal. So we're not too far away, or hopefully it wouldn't be difficult for you to find us. Our theme, we're going to be at Queen's University there in Kingston, and our theme for this year is Music Education Research in a Diverse and Uncertain World, Opportunities and Challenges. So our commission is a little bit different. It's unique in comparison to the other commissions. Of course, research is very wide in terms of what is possible, and that is purposeful for our commission. We were ISME's first commission, and we're the longest standing. The commission maintains a core value that the theory and practice of music education be underpinned by a strong research evidential base. And so we don't focus on a particular area. We are open, and we welcome topics within music education research. We allow for a wide variety of methodologies, whether you're a behavioral researcher or philosophical, whether you're quantitative, qualitative, we accept all kinds of research. And part of the purpose for that is that we focus on really developing skills and really high quality research, not just within the timing of the pre-conference seminar, but also afterwards. So there's a lot of collaboration that occurs, mentoring. We have early career researchers and very experienced researchers that come together. I have always really appreciated my time within the Research Commission. I've been attending since 2010, and you just learn so much, and I've really been able to make a lot more connections. So I know others have talked about that networking approach. We have that same sort of feel. Our atmosphere is extremely positive and uplifting, and trying to really dig down deep into some of the issues in terms of research and producing research, developing researchers in areas of the world where it is less common to have strong music education research happening. So that's really what our focus is. You can, of course, visit our website and see all of the specific mission and goals that we have in our vision. In terms of the seminar itself, our format is allows for full paper presentations and then what we're calling short paper abstracts. So those are more like the lightning talk poster sorts of presentations. We have, after each presentation, there is a brief period of question and answer that allows people as a large group to be able to ask and learn from their other colleagues. And then we also have morning and afternoon breakout sessions, and that allows us to even have more interaction, more meaningful discussion. It really is a wonderful place to get to know other researchers. There is a high level of collaboration that occurs after people meet and network. There are lots of collaborative studies that go on, and oftentimes they are then presented at future research seminars. So we have not just the ability for you as a student to come and present research, but we also offer observers. So we have the ability for observers to come in either in person or virtually online. So if no matter where you are in the world, we want to try to foster research and have you be involved in some way, shape, or form. Of course, it's a little bit different when you are participating virtually because you won't necessarily be able to be present for our lunches together or our coffee breaks where more social kinds of activities happen. So I think that is all I have, and I look forward to answering your questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Whitaker. I think we'll go with special education and music therapy. So Dr. Belfast and Dr. Lyons.
Hi, thank you. So my name's Emma Lyons. I'm one of the two co-chairs alongside Mark, looking after the Special Music Education and Music Therapy Commission. So a little bit about me. So I am Head of Learning for Drake Music Scotland. I'm based in Scotland in the UK. Drake Music Scotland are an organisation working nationally with disabled people and disabled musicians of all ages. So we have a large schools programme and a programme working with musical and disabled artists in helping them with accessibility and access into their careers. I also run a private teaching practice. I'm another woodwind person on the call, a woodwind and piano teacher, and have been doing that for nearly 23 years. Just sort of how I got into ISME is kind of also one of the highlights of the commission for me. So Drake Music Scotland hosted the 2016 seminar in Edinburgh, and I was the sole organiser of that from Drake Music Scotland. So I'm really proud and excited when I think back to that seminar, because not only was it my first experience of ISME, but it was also the Commission's biggest ever seminar so far, with 120 delegates from 18 countries. And we had 70 disabled performers from Scotland, England, Germany, and Finland. And basically my experience of running that seminar really gave me the love for this commission and everything that comes with it. Meeting all of the delegates and commission members for the first time, and knowing that for many of them, Edinburgh was a highlight of that seminar too, which everybody likes to tell me every time we go to other commissions. So a bit about our commission. So we're also one of an older commissions, I say. We were established in 1974, so we're in our 50th year to contribute to the progressive development of special music education, music therapy, and music and special education, and other related fields. Our commission aims to promote understanding of the unique roles of those working in the area and scope of special music education and music therapy. We do this by sharing and exchanging international perspectives on current research, training initiatives, new methodologies and technologies in special music education, music therapy, and other related fields. We promote and advocate for students with additional support and aids to ensure that they are afforded the same quality and access to music education as their mainstream peers. We do all of this while ensuring that our commission and seminars are also fully accessible for disabled and neurodivergent practitioners and performers involved in our work, and that our commission is also working on accessibility for our non-native English speakers too in 2026. commission in 2024, in Helsinki, we had our first ever disabled keynote speaker, Claire Johnson, who did a joint spoken and performed keynote. Our seminars offer a space for researchers, practitioners, both in academic settings, right through to those from grassroots education and therapy sessions to share their experiences through paper presentations, practical workshops, poster sessions, and we're bringing in Petra Kutcher this year as well, and also performances from the host organizations and invited guests as well. And we're really excited that our 2026 seminar will be held in partnership with our fellow commissioner, Erin Parks, from the Lotus Centre, and it will be held at the University of Ottawa. Our theme for 2026 is celebrating musical belonging, which I'm going to hand over to Mark to expand upon in a minute. And the one thing that I'm personally very much looking forward to next year, and one I think is a unique thing that we're going to offer next year, is the launch of our Legacy Project, which is a series of essays written by notable people who've been involved in our commission over the past 50 years. These essays are people's personal experiences of our commission, their own anecdotes and stories on how our work and their work combined, and also providing some historical context of our commission. And that Legacy Project is being looked after by, I don't really give him a name, but a commission board assistant, let's say, but he's a previous commissioner, Boo Nielsen, and we'll be launching this as a book event in 2026. I probably missed out lots of things, so I'm going to hand over to Mark now.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mark Belfast. I am an assistant professor of music education at Florida State University in the United States. And here I work within the teacher education program, working with all areas of teacher education, both instrumental and vocal. And it's interesting that Emma brought up the Edinburgh seminar for our commission, because that was the first seminar that I participated in. But even while I was within my doctoral studies, some of my colleagues that were doctoral students with me were attending the ISME conferences, right? They went to Brazil and the conferences that were right around that time. And so that's really what sort of got me interested in ISME, was coming through sort of the student lens, hearing from my colleagues that had attended these things. And so I attended the Edinburgh conference, and as Emma mentioned, being there in Edinburgh and presenting research within that very welcoming, very friendly. It was fun. Like, just being around the folks that were in the commission really got me interested into participating at even a higher level. And those collaborations that came out of that helped to launch some of the research that I've done related to special music education and music therapy and so forth. So I certainly want to say from the jump that one of the things that I really enjoy about our commission is certainly how broad it is. I'm not a music therapist. I am a music educator. And yet I found myself teaching students who were going into situations where they were going to work with students who needed special support, but the rest of the curriculum in the teacher education programming didn't really provide them with all the information that they needed. So by my participation in the commission, I was able to develop those skills and learn things and make connections and whatnot so that I could better help my students. And that's how I really got involved with ISME. So certainly there's a way in for students to be able to develop those relationships with practitioners and professionals in the field. Our theme for our seminar for 2026 is celebrating musical belonging. And we love this theme because it really gets to the core of what our commission is all about. When there's this sort of disconnect sometimes when people engage with individuals that require special supports, where we try to find a way to make those individuals fit within the system that we have. And our theme is looking at it from the other side of that coin, right? Where our belief, our vision is that everyone belongs, that everyone has a place, and we focus on finding a way to change the systems to ensure that everyone's puzzle piece can fit within the puzzle, right? Rather than trimming off the edges of the puzzle piece in order to shove it into the spot that it doesn't normally fit in. And so that's what our theme is all about. And as Emma mentioned, we have a wide variety of ways that people can share their research or activities with us through workshops and pechakucha and spoken papers and of course poster sessions. I do want to point out we are at the University of Ottawa, which is only 2 hours by car, and it's 2 hours and 45 minutes by train, and it's 10 hours by bike if you want to ride. And Google says it's a 2-day walk if you would like to walk from Ottawa to Montreal. So it's not very far. And it's the University of Ottawa is really right downtown. So during our seminar, you'll find that our commission is very social. We're all about connecting with each other. And so we have like we're planning a river down, a cruise down the river, and we always do a seminar dinner with everyone to hang out and partake of local cuisine and whatnot. And so it's just a really great environment to meet practitioners and researchers from all over the world, and also to develop those professional connections while also just chilling with some really cool folks. So that's me, and that's our commission, and happy to answer any questions that anyone has.
Great, thank you both so much. So before we move on to our last two commissions, I know Dr. Canham and Dr. De Bruin, you mentioned you might have to leave early, so if you need to, please feel free. But I just wanted to thank you for your time, especially because you were joining us from very late at night. So yeah, a huge thank you to them. Yeah, and then I guess I'll move on. Why don't we go with Miss Tech? So Dr. Parakaki?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you all for this great organization. So I'm Elizabeth Parakaki. I'm the chair of MISTEC and social lecturer at the music department of the University of Athens in Greece. My special interest align with the MISTEC topic, music in school and music teacher education. So MISTEC believes that music should be available to all students in all schools at all levels and taught by specialized music educators. So we believe that music education and music in school is a human right, is a universal language and a powerful force for inclusion and emotional well-being. So our theme for the next seminar is Access, Equity and Innovation, Bridging the Future at the University of Quebec, but in Montreal, from July 20th to 24. And this theme invites you and challenges you to reflect deeply on whose voices are heard, whose needs are addressed, and whose creativity is nurtured within our current systems. It calls educator, researcher, practitioner, and as I said before, you for submission that not only challenge the status quo, but also offer transformative and inclusive pathways forward. This is a moment for bridge building between tradition and progress, between policy and practice, between the local and the global. I think that together, and I'm sure we can imagine a future of music education where access is a right, equity is a practice, and innovation serves the common good. Why to participate in a MISTEC seminar? the first and foremost, a MISTEC seminar is not a typical academic seminar. It's a space of connection, dialogue, reflection, and shared purpose. For 5 decades, yes, we have the 5th anniversary next year. MISTEC has cultivated a unique format that brings together participants from around the world in a spirit of collaboration, curiosity, and critical engagement. And of course, attend interactive or oral presentation, which are not designed as a lecture, are designed to go beyond a lecture. So a session includes a short presentation by the speaker, small group discussions, allowing participants to reflect, question, and exchange ideas, and then a final plenary sharing where group insights are brought back to the whole. So this format ensures deep dialogue and direct communication with presenters, an experience that participants consistently describe as energizing and enriching. They are not just attendees. There are also hands-on experiential workshops, lightning talks, and poster sessions. So in MISTEC, you will not find parallel sessions. Everyone is part of every presentation and every conversation. This creates a rare atmosphere of shared experience and continuous meaningful exchange among all participants. That's why we also say that MISTEC is a family. For seminar, there is a day dedicated to the host country's music education. So there is one day of the seminar always devoted to exploring the music education landscape of the host country, this time in Canada, and as far as I know, in indigenous music. So this is a rare opportunity to understand local challenges, solutions, and innovations, learn from music teachers, students, and institutions on the ground, gain a truly global perspective on what music education can look like in different contexts. So if you want to submit a full in advance, you should have in mind that you not submit an abstract, but you should submit a full paper. And if your submission is accepted, the full paper will be part of our proceedings. So as you know, as you can imagine, presentations do not simply repeat the paper, but offer space for deeper reflection, focused insight, and extended thinking. So there are also applications for MISTEC Travel Awards, 2, I think, this year, available to those who do not have financial support for travel from their country. And these MISTEC Travel Awards will be given to spoken paper and workshop presenters. So we believe that the future of music education depends on empowering you, the students, as the next generation of music teachers. So we look to the future. We need your voice. So please engage with our seminars, collaborate on international research, share your stories, learn from us. We learn from you. So as we celebrate 50 years of action, advocacy, and innovation, we proudly reflect on your journey and our journey and invite you to join us in shaping what comes next. We truly believe that together we are building a more inclusive, creative, and resilient world through music education. We'll be really happy to join us. I'll put some special links in the chat for keeping in touch. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Parakaki. And last but not least, we have ECME. So Dr. Johnson-Green.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you for putting this together and for inviting us all here. So I am the chair of the Early Childhood Music Education Commission. I am an associate professor at the University of Massachusetts, and my specialty is in music and human development, music in children's thinking and processing. I'm interested in music composition with young children, among other things. So our commission looks at the life of the early childhood musical person. We study music and human development from before birth through the age of 8 years old. Before birth, you may not know this, but children have adult capacity hearing at 5 months gestation. So everything that you are doing in the environment while the mother is pregnant with the child can hear. And so this is why we say that we start from pre-birth. Our mission of our commission is to acknowledge young children's movement within multiple communities of practice, inclusive of home, community, and school environments. We view these contexts to be interrelated and to have equal influences on children's musical development, activities, and experiences. We consider young children to take a primary role within these communities. As musically creative beings, children have agency and voice in their own learning. We believe that it is essential for effective and relevant teaching and research to keep children's musicality and need for musical learning and expression at the center of all that we do. This perspective fosters equitable and differentiated approaches as we search for ways to create meaningful and effective musical education for our youngest learners. We believe that research in early childhood music education allows us to understand musical experiences, expression, and learning as vital to young children's well-being and development. Further, when put into practice, this research improves our ability to encourage young children's love of music and to help them build a foundation for lifelong musical participation and musicianship. So I'm going to repeat that last thing. So what we do is we want to build a foundation with our youngest learners so that they are lifelong active musical people. That doesn't mean that we think that they're going to be professional musicians, but it does mean that we want to set their feet on the path towards musical life. And we feel that this is incredibly important and that, excuse me, and that again, this builds the foundation for everything that comes after. So put their feet on the path and the rest will follow. This is one of our central tenets. Excuse me. We take research into music, early childhood music education very seriously. And we actually we have researchers who look at this from all different angles. So we have people who are looking at neuroscience. We have people looking at observational studies of children's development. We have people doing case studies. We have people doing large-scale survey studies to survey parents and families and caregivers, teachers, anyone who is involved in early childhood music education, we want to hear from. Our commission is focused also on fostering equitable practices in classroom and community music settings through establishing communities of learners inclusive of background, learning, diversity, and identity. So what we want to do is we want to look at the whole child within the whole community. That again is also essential to what we do. Children's and families' musical cultures and identities and the impact they have on formalized musical teaching practices. So what we're doing is we are connecting home, community, and school environment. So informal, non-formal, and formal musical education are all taken into consideration when we consider children's musical lives and well-being. So those are some of the things that we kind of focus on as our commission. So we're very excited about this conference coming up. We decided that in keeping with unity in music education, our theme is ecologies of early childhood music. And what that means is, again, as I just said, connecting it back, that we look at the child within the context of their life. So what we want to see from, these are some suggestions, what we would like to see from you all. And by the way, we absolutely love students coming to our commission. We have many of them come every time, and it's something that is incredibly important to us. So one of the things that we're looking for, nurturing the young child through and with music within homeschool and community contexts, as I just said. Collaborations with young children's ways of knowing music and the musical relationships that arise from them. Interdisciplinary and multimodal approaches to music education in early childhood. Honoring cultural diversity in ISME. Influences of environmental factors on young children's music making and learning, very important too. And understanding teaching and learning early childhood music education in formal, informal, and non-formal contexts as ecological systems. So once again, we are pulling together all of these different threads, and we are combining them into sort of an overall picture of what the state of early childhood music education is in the world at this point. So we are very lucky to be holding our Early Child Commission conference at the University of Quebec at Three Rivers, which is in Drummondville in Quebec County. And it is only, I think, about an hour away from Montreal, so very close, maybe an hour and a half, something like that. It looks, I have never been there, but it looks absolutely gorgeous, and we're very excited about this. And we're collaborating with someone who I think it's going to be very fun. So, so that's what's going on with that. And then, excuse me. So we really have kind of expanded also the ways that people can be involved in this conference, meaning that we welcome, excuse me, we welcome spoken papers, and we have something, so we have two different kinds of spoken papers you can do. We're looking for symposia. We also came up with this idea that we were going to invite practitioners, especially to submit maybe a 15-minute presentation on something that you all do in the classroom with your young students. So we're very interested in hearing from equally from practitioners and researchers. The reason for that is that in early childhood music education, we really can't do the research without being connected, very connected to the people who are also in the classroom with their feet on the ground and teaching, working with the young children. So I am very happy to answer any questions that you might have. And I'm also very happy to kind of explain more about what we do. So please do not hesitate to get in touch with me. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Wonderful. Thank you, everyone, for such nice introductions to your commissions and to yourself. So I think we'll move on. For the last half hour, we'll do our live Q&A. So as mentioned before, if you're just joining us, please feel free to drop any questions in the chat. You can also use the raise hand function on Zoom, and we can call on you to ask your questions. But why don't we start it off with, we did receive a few questions in advance. So this one was targeted towards instrumental, vocal, and special ed and music therapy. But I think it can be applicable to many of the commissions here. So basically the question is, do you have any advice for if someone's work can be applicable for more than one commission? How do you decide between what you submit to? So this particular student is working on amusia and off-key correction in college classrooms. So it kind of is voice related, but it has aspects of music therapy and language pathology, and they're kind of trying to decide. what commission they should submit to.
It's a curly one to start off with, so thank you for that question. I would just encourage you to think carefully about the audience that you'd like to speak with, the audience you'd like to connect with. If you're going to go to a commission, you're going to be there for 3 or 4 days. So whichever commission that might be, think of the not just presenting the paper, but the kind of people that you'll be meeting, networking with, and allowing your scholarship connections to grow across that week, that you'll be able to take not only into the World Conference, but beyond, and maybe keep in contact with them and continue to grow those networks over the years. That would be my advice. I wouldn't suggest one over the other. It's really ultimately your decision. Just be prudent and strategic with the one that you do choose.
Thank you for handling such a complicated first question. Any other commissioners like to chime in?
I'll just add that perhaps also consider sort of which commission might best serve your needs immediately. Maybe whatever project you're working on and whatnot, although it may touch a lot of different areas, the beauty of the commission system is that when you attend a seminar, it doesn't mean that you're locked into that commission for life, right? So maybe you're working on a particular project or a stream of things right now. And so making those connections to kind of help you through that process or through those projects could be, could lead you towards one commission over the other for the time being. And and you spend time with those people in Canada, and you might be with a different group of people when we go to Thailand, right? And so you don't have to feel like it's like this major life decision that you have to make right now.
Great, thank you so much for your answer. Anyone else want to chime in? No, perfect. So I think oh, sorry, Dr. Whitaker.
I was just going to mention, I agree with Mark. We've had at the Research Commission, people will come in with new and innovative methodologies that they're learning how to apply, and they may be making links between topics that haven't necessarily been typical within maybe some of the other commissions. And so they'll come to the Research Commission and have meaningful conversations about, different ways to strengthen whatever that approach is, if it needs to be strengthened. And then perhaps in following years, they'll move on to a different commission. And then we also, of course, have some longstanding members within the Research Commission, like Cliff Madsen, Graham Welch, who like every commission they're there. So there's very much a mentorship kind of aspect to the Research Commission, which then could easily be applied to any of the other commissions as you move on in your work. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think Professor Banfi-Hall, did you raise your hand?
Yes, I just wanted to add, just to encourage you. I think I totally agree with the others. It's you can always change, and I think there are a lot of people who've been to sort of several commissions, pre-conferences, but do go to them. The pre-conferences are where you make the connections, because it's a real community, it's a real sense of community, and you spend it's way less anonymous than the main conference is much bigger. So I would really recommend you go to a pre-conference, and it does matter, and it's I agree, it helps to think, well, who are the people that tend to go there. So look at the proceedings, the conference proceedings, and have a look who's published in the conference proceedings. Are these people you would like to have a conversation with? Are there people that you've read their work? So that's sort of one criteria, but then they're all great. And that's where you really make the connections and the relationships that then lead to so many other things. So that's just what I wanted to add.
Thank you. Great, so I think we'll move on to the next question. We have someone from the audience. Professor Guptill, did you want to ask your question?
Thank you so much. I apologize for the decor behind me. It was my daughter's 16th birthday on the weekend, and we still haven't taken down the boats. Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment, and I hope this is okay. But so I'm on the leadership committee for Musicians' Health and Wellness, and I just wanted to remind folks that the Musicians' Health and Wellness Special Interest Group is encouraging people to just attend whichever commission speaks to you. So if you are interested in musicians' health and wellness, and you really think that CEPROM is a fantastic pre-conference to go to, or IVMTC is a fantastic, or CMA, or any of the commissions, we would just encourage you to attend that particular pre-conference and listen, and then join us back at the main conference so that we can start to share amongst ourselves in the stream for musicians' health and wellness. So thanks so much, everybody. All the commissioners, thanks so much for being here and explaining. And hi, Bridget.
Thank you, Professor Guptill. So next, we have another question from the audience. Eitan?
Yes, hi, my name is Eitan, and I am the founder and CEO of a company called Common Time Pathways. We're trying to address international access barriers to a collegiate music education. We think that musicians should be able to continue music past the time when their pets are hovering over them and making sure they go to rehearsal. And I'm wondering in which pre-conference the folks here think it might be appropriate to address access barriers to a collegiate education, especially in comparison to the way music students are recruited for a secondary education, a post-secondary education, excuse me, both at the US and internationally. Is there anyone who might be interested in talking about access barriers to a post-secondary music education, whether that be as a major or not?
I was trying to find the hand thing, but I can't find it, so I'm just shouting out. Hi, Aidan. I would think that at least policy commission would be interesting in a sense that there's usually also a lot of these kind of cases of different programs, and of course, like accessibility is one of the policy related questions as well in formal and informal contexts, of course, but especially in like institutional and educational contexts. And what I think is particularly interesting, I also have a music related company myself, which I'm like the founder and CEO of. So I really like these kind of overlappings that policy commission offers, like thinking kind of a little bit beyond how to say, like more traditional research settings or questions across different kind of like NGOs and so on. And I'm also thinking about what you said related to this kind of question of how is it done in other countries, and policy commission has usually we've had panels that are like kind of like across different contexts or intercultural panels where there's like one question, let's say like how are SDGs implemented in music education curricula, and then there's like people from different countries like giving their national agenda and kind of related questions and challenges, and then there's this possibility for comparison as well. So I would offer
well, that's very interesting. Thank you. No, that's certainly interesting, and I think a panel discussion would be extraordinarily helpful. I think there's an enormous question out there of how do we take our students in a public education and make them independent musicians when they're no longer living at home. And I think that while, of course, we all chose to make that decision for ourselves, there is a vast majority of people, especially in the US, and I'm hoping to learn more about the other countries in the world, where students are simply not encouraged to continue in music because a college education is seen as an economic decision. And many families, especially immigrant families, are not able to justify in their minds the reality of being a musician once they finish their their kindergarten through grade 12 education. And I think it would be quite interesting. I would love to eventually be able to address access barriers to students from El Sistema in Caracas, Venezuela, wanting to study music in Tokyo at conservatory, and the access barriers therein. And I think there's a lot of people who would be interested to talk with me. So I'll go ahead and reach out to as many of you as I can and see if you would participate in a panel discussion. And I think there is a lot to be said about access, and especially the pipelines that we create for ourselves. And it's good to see you, Alyssa. We're friends from Massachusetts here in the United States. It's good to see everyone. And thanks for hosting this event. It's quite lovely.
Thank you, Eitan, and thank you, Dr. Leis. Any other questions from the Zoom room? Yes, Hayden.
Hello, everyone. It's a bit bizarre seeing as I'm in the student forum. Probably bizarre that I'm asking a question, but this is one that's relevant to me and perhaps also to many others. I'm going to direct it at Alicia for CMA. If that's all right. Sorry for catching you off guard, if I may. I've previously gone to CPROM, my last two pre-conferences, but my research has been changing, and it's been more in the CMA sort of world. However, I'm not certain that by September I'm actually going to have much to present, and to the point where I don't actually think I'll submit anything to to the pre-conference. I may submit something to the main conference. I suppose it's the main question: should I still consider going to a pre-conference even if I'm not planning to present? Is there anything in it for a student like myself or many others? And I guess then the question on behalf of others might be, why would I present at a pre-conference seminar when I could just focus all my attention on the main conference? That might be the perception that many people have, is that I could just focus on the big flashy thing and not on the pre-conference. So I guess any commissioner may answer. It looks like Leon's already chiming in. I'd love anyone to offer some guidance here for the student membership in the audience.
So with regards to CMA, I think it's always worth going, even if you don't present. I would say a really clear yes, because I think, I mean, I've been to conferences where I didn't present. So I think it's all about, it's all not just about those 20 minutes or half an hour where we share something that we've got to share, but it's about the listening and the learning and the people you meet. So I think absolutely, if you haven't got anything to present, come. As I said before, I think the pre-conferences is where you make the most connections. So that in itself is worth so much. I mean, I've made so many sort of friendships and then also work things that happened out of those pre-conferences that it's a time investment very worth making. And what was your second question? Now I've forgotten your second question.
Second question is sort of half answered by what you're saying, but but why would I present at a world conference, at the pre-conference part of me, when I could focus all my attention on that big fancy world conference?
The World Conference is, from what I've perceived, maybe people have had different experiences to me, but it's less focused in terms of you meet loads more people and people move around more. So if you want to really make connections with your sort of community, then presenting at the pre-conference, you will have them all listening to you. Whereas at the main conference, it's more fluid, I would say. So you'll have people, and you can sort of have a look at this and have a look at that, which is brilliant. It's well worth going, but if you, it's a very different experience. So if you have something to present, you could think of doing. I think when they get to present at the pre-conference, they can present a poster. Shri, Patricia, am I right? Is that still the case? that there's then a poster at the main conference, so you will still do both. But there's loads of hands up, so
Oh, goodness, I must have asked a good question. Should we, Marianne, I'll just take over. Shall we do it in order? Leon, you've had your hand up for a while.
I'll just reiterate what Alicia said very, very eloquently, in that you're establishing a connection with a really lovely community in the pre-conferences. You usually have one stream, and what occurs in the World Conference is that there are concurrent streams. So there might be 6 or 7 papers being spoken at the same time across a particular venue. So you've really got a captive audience in the pre-conference. Everyone who's at the pre-conference is listening to your paper, and you get to listen to them. And then you'll have a coffee break, and you'll get to discuss things and meet new people and share ideas and throw ideas around. And it's really, really invigorating academically and in a scholarly way, and on a personal level as well. And you get to do that for 3 or 4 days. At lunches, afternoon teas. I'm sure most of the commissions have a dinner as well. You're really making a community, and you're making friends, possibly for life. So that's the really big difference: the access to that kind of opportunity.
Wonderful, thanks, Leon. Shall we move along the list? Tuliki, I believe you were next.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier that the policy pre-conference is also offering this possibility for lightning talks, which is based on the idea that we could particularly cater for master and doctoral students, so that they can introduce and discuss their research ideas or research in progress in a kind of less intimidating way, and also it's only 5 minutes, but then you get the kind of the spotlight, because of course it's not like forbidden to take part in a pre-conference without presenting anything, but I would say personally that it would end up not as a best option, because when you present even the 5-minute lightning talk preceding the poster session, it's giving the spotlight. You kind of like you get the attention from the whole commission group, and it kind of opens up more possibilities for having good questions that help you on the way and so on. So this lightning talk is developed exactly for that reason.
Cool. Excellent. Yes, the pre-conferences all have, whether or not they have an explicit focus like some do for masters and doctoral students, I do that many have. Yeah, you got your posters, your pick-a-kuchas, all these alternative formats that maybe lend themselves more to students who aren't quite ready to do a full paper presentation. Alyssa, shall I keep moving down? Alyssa Johnson Green.
Thank you. Yes, so I agree with all of you so far. Excuse me. The other thing is that it's really fun to go to one of the commission conferences without the added anxiety of having to present something, because you can really focus on what's going on around you, and you can focus on making connections with people and building relationships. I think that that piece of it is really the most important thing that you might do at one of these smaller conferences, because what happens is that these people become your go-to people, people you can reach out to when you have a question, or if you're interested in something. I mean, we build collaborations, research collaborations, teaching collaborations. So it's just a really nice way of getting to know, like everyone was saying, of getting to know people. And we also provide a lot of support for new people coming in, especially for students when they want to present something. We are always very excited to have people join the commission. So anyway, thank you.
Oh, wonderful. I think I've I've taken the wheel for a bit too long in terms of moving through the questions. I'll hand it back to Marianne. I think it's appropriate that I give it back to our moderator here, as opposed to me just grabbing the steering wheel. So, but thank you for your answers, everyone. It's useful not only to me, but I think to all the student members. The pre-conferences are a lot more than just presenting a paper and feeling a bit lost with all the 2,000 faces around you. They're little communities, and I found that in CPROM. It's just been wonderful to be part of the CPROM family, as it's called.
Great, no worries, Hayden. And I guess we'll move on to Dr. Perakaki. Would you like to chime in?
Yeah, thank you. From Mystic part, I must say that there is so much time for discussion as there are no parallel sessions. This practical means that we move for 5 days altogether. So maybe a student the first time in Mystic Commission may not feel comfortable for the very first day to participate in discussions, but I'm sure that the second, third day, everything is going smoothly. And participating in discussion in small groups, you feel more comfortable to ask questions and not so awkward. Sometimes you don't feel so confident to raise your hand in front of all the others in the auditorium, in the plenary, and ask a question. But in small groups, everything is much better. So, social activities that takes place in most of commissions, and coffee breaks and lecture, of course, and seminars are the best place for questions, for have fun in the end, I think, not only attend the seminar.
Thank you. And I think Dr. Rennie Salonen, you're next.
Thank you. And from the IVMTC side, what I would just like to highlight is what has been mentioned, but I would like to highlight it explicitly, that I think what's wonderful about the pre-conference commissions, the commission pre-conferences, is that there are a number of different types of presentations and ways of presenting your work. So that gives you a lot more variability and adaptability than the more formalized and potentially more intimidating environment of the World Conference. I know it was said already, but I think it's a very important thing that, we've heard all kinds of things today in this session about the different types of presentations. And I think then there's another thing which I think is an implicit thing that we haven't spoken much about explicitly, but that is also that the pre-conference commissions, all of us, from my experience of other commissions as well, we have a way of mentoring our younger colleagues and our new members, and we seek to help younger members to grow, to flourish, to feel comfortable, and to feel mentored in the situation. So I think this is also a really, really important thing, that younger professionals don't feel thrown into a world conference all of a sudden and perhaps are lonely and a bit intimidated. So I think this is very important. And then, of course, the variability of types of presentations, I think, is just such a wonderful opportunity to take advantage of in the pre-conference committee.
Thank you. And Dr. Belfast?
Yes, I'll be very, very quick. But two other things that I think make it very important to participate in the pre-conference commissions. Number one, I haven't looked at all of the pre-conference seminars, but generally there's significantly reduced cost for students. We really want to encourage students to come, and so we try to make it very, very affordable for students. And so that might be that might influence your decision whether or not you can make it or not. But the other thing is that the pre-conference seminars help to make the world small, right? Like there's so much out there and people are spread out all over. and things are different. You know, the way we do things in the United States might be different from the way it's done in Malaysia or South Africa or wherever. And when you get to those pre-conference seminars, you get all of those people from all over the world in a very small community, and so it's not quite so overwhelming, right? And so it's a little bit easier to sort of digest when you don't have so much coming at you from everywhere. And so that's one of the things I really like about it.
Thank you. And Dr. Lawrence?
I'm not a doctor, wish I was, which kind of leads to my
sorry.
point. That's okay. Leads to my point, which is that actually you don't have to be an academic. These conferences do look like they're very academia focused, and I think, you know, they are in a lot of cases. Our commission is academic, but it doesn't have to be. And I don't know whether I'm speaking for other commissions as well, but, you know, we don't just want to hear academic research. We don't just want to hear from academic studies, but actually we want to hear from individuals and organizations delivering grassroots work, you know, in local communities, and hear from that side of things too. And I think I'm not an academic, and it took me a few years of being involved in ISME to realize that actually I can present too, and I didn't for the first 3 conferences I went to, because I didn't feel like it was, you know, that I had that research behind me. But actually, no, I'm doing an awful lot of work in the organization that I'm with that doesn't have, you know, it hasn't been published anywhere, but it's important, probably more important in my opinion than some of the other work, because it's actually working with the individuals and seeing direct results over many, many years. So my point was that we want to try and make all of the commissions as welcoming as possible to students without it feeling scary. From a numbers point of view, we want it to be accessible, but yeah, it doesn't have to be the academia side of things as well. And also, just on a personal point, I've made an awful lot of people, met friends that I just think are going to be lifelong friends as well. So it's really important from a social point of view too.
Thank you. Thank you all for your answers. Hayden, you asked a very popular question. I just wanted to chime in with I think a lot of people have already mentioned this before, but my experience as a student last year, I went to CMA, which was my first pre-conference seminar. And Hayden, you touched on something where it's like, well, what if I don't have enough to present for a talk? I actually did the lightning talk for any students here who might be interested in that format. And I just presented some of the background stuff that I did. And actually I represented an NPO, nonprofit music group, and the work that we did with them. But it helped me, the comments and the questions and the people that I met from doing that lightning talk helped me kind of solidify what was going on in that research. So that's helpful that way as well. I don't, like, if anyone is scared about not presenting something full, I encourage all students to do that, because it was a very nice experience. And the people were very cool. So we're reaching the end of our Q&A period, and unfortunately the end of the panel. I was just wondering if anyone else had any last minute questions or last minute comments that you wanted to throw out there.
I just
Perfect. We touched. Oh,
in chat. Yeah, I just added my comment in chat, which I think it's very important, because in 2022, when the pre-conferences were virtual, I had the opportunity to attend more than one commission and seminar, and it was all were amazing. So it's a great opportunity in pre-conferences.
Thank you for that last minute note. So on that end, I'll invite our commissioners. If you would like to, you're not obligated to, but usually at the end of these workshops, people share their emails so that the students can get in touch with them. So you may do that in the chat, but again, you're not obligated to. But other than that, thank you all so much for attending, particularly to our commissioners. You gave up much time for this, and you dealt with many emails from me and Pushpa. So thank you once again, and round of applause for our speakers.
And thank you for doing such excellent organization. Well done. It was really well organized.
Thank you. All right. Well, on that note, thank you all for being here. I wish you a wonderful day, night, or afternoon, wherever you are located. And if anything, if this interested you, or if you have any other ideas for future workshops or discussions that you would like to see, please get in touch with us at the Student Forum, and we'll try and help you make it happen.
Thanks, Marianne.